Hello everyone, my name is Blackwatch and welcome to another episode of my Siege lore series. If you like this series and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, share the video, do all the lovely things. We are closing in fast on 10k by 2023. It's going to be an achievable goal, it's going to be good. Help me get there quickly. And today's video we're talking about something that's not so much a story as it is a discussion about a concept. Would Siege ever have someone perma-killed? Now unfortunately Siege is not sentient, so it can't make that decision by itself, but Ubisoft could. Now this is something that's come up in the past. There was talk that one of the solutions that had been tabled to the Tachanka problem, now new players and some of you younger folk won't necessarily know this, but the grizzled bastards like myself know Tachanka was a problem for a very long time because he was really bad, but people loved him. And one of the ideas that Ubisoft had for dealing with him as a problem was actually just killing his character in a storyline and then bringing in someone else to replace him. Obviously that's not how it panned out. His gadget was reworked 2 times to the current form that we have, where he's got the turret as a primary weapon and he's got his weird Mosin Nagant flame launcher, so it's worked out well in the end. But the fact that that was tabled at all is interesting. Would they actually do it though? That's the question. I think from a narrative standpoint this could be interesting, and I think the absence of that sort of threat is not a good thing for storytelling. One of the big complaints that you tend to find in long-running series like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones is probably a poor example but something like The Walking Dead is probably the prime example. You get to a certain point where it feels like certain characters just won't die, and so it doesn't really matter what stakes you throw at them because you know that they're going to be okay by the end of it. What we really need to make a story like that thrive is the threat of death, the actual threat of violence turning into something more permanent than just an injury. You do see that a lot in series like The Walking Dead, where instead of killing a character, they'll maim them in some way, or they'll do something to them that is ultimately going to change who they are as a character. So Rick has been through the grinder in The Walking Dead, multiple life-changing injuries that he's had to deal with, and various other characters gone through similar things in different ways, and it's basically a way for them to allow themselves to continue using a character and keeping them relatively fresh without having to resort to just killing them outright. Siege could do this. I think there's the scope for them to introduce injuries or aesthetic changes or whatever to operators, but honestly, I think the most interesting approach would be to just kill one of them. And I know this is the difficulty of that particular subject, is how do you actually deal with it? Do you get someone else in to take up their moniker, replace their gadget, or do you just remove them from the game entirely, or do you continue using them in the game as a character but just accept that from a storyline perspective that character's dead? I think that would be an inelegant way of handling things. I think they would have to have someone else to step into those shoes or someone to replace them, but then you run that difficult mark where you're no longer just dealing with a character in a story that is entirely your own, but you're dealing with a character in a story that is also tied to, in a lot of cases, someone's very personal bond with that character. Now, you can love John Marston and be sad when he dies, because ultimately you didn't pay for John Marston to appear in Red Dead. On the other hand, you did pay for Alibi, and so if she gets taken out during an undercover mission, that's someone that you put the money down for, who's no longer there. Now I suppose you could argue in some way that gameplay changes and things like that are valid enough that you could consider a character fundamentally different or no longer the thing that someone had paid for in the first place. But there's a reason why the terms and conditions probably have a line somewhere about how content is subject to change, and that's ultimately going to protect them against it. So will they ever kill someone off? I'm erring on the side of no. I said erring like an English person there. But I would like to think that one day, yes, they would. As long as it's not Doc. Kill anyone else, just not Doc. Or Sam, actually. Sam can die gloriously of old age, but it better be a good death. But yeah, everyone else, go nuts. Kill them all you want. So we'll see, maybe one day. But in the meantime, do popatrzenia everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. Join the channel as a member if you feel like it. I've not really mentioned this much. It does cost money, but you get some funny emotes of my face and other people's faces. Do popatrzenia everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.